struggling to market to your ideal clientele with old branding that worked for you years ago? This branding gap is playing a huge role in your current client conversion rate, and you may not even know it. We've heard it all before. My website doesn't matter that much, or I'll get to it eventually, but years go by and yet you're still asking the same question. Why am I still working the same weddings at the same price point with no growth? So what does your current brand and website say about you? Does your copy actually captivate your ideal clientele, or are they quickly closing your site and connecting with someone else? It's time to give your brand some pampering at the Creative Cabana, your all-inclusive strategy and design studio. With over a decade of experience as wedding vendors, their full-service team knows exactly how powerful great branding can be for your business growth. Whether you need a complete brand refresh or just a touch-up with services like website design, brand identity, or copywriting, they've got you covered. And for filmmakers out there, they also specialize in logo animations so that your film can feel that much more elevated. This is something I just invested in, and it's brought an entirely new look to my films. So you poured your heart and soul into your business. Now it's time for a brand that connects with your customers on every level. Visit their website today and use our discount code WGY300 for $300 off your first project at creativecabana.co. Welcome to the We Got You podcast, a network curated for wedding photographers and filmmakers that dives deep into the strategies and tactics to transitioning a side hustle in the wedding industry into a full-time, thriving career. We're your hosts, luxury wedding filmmaker Emma K. Films and luxury destination wedding photographer Hannah Brook Photography. It wasn't too long ago that we picked up our cameras for the first time, having absolutely no idea where it would lead us. Years later, we're traveling the globe for beautiful destination weddings, build our dream lifestyles, and run multi-six-figure careers. It didn't happen overnight and it wasn't easy, but it is attainable and so worth it. And we're ready to teach you our strategies. Covering a variety of topics from both our firsthand experiences and reputable guest speakers' insights crucial for business growth, we're exploring the art of marketing within your niche, discussing effective ways to attract and retain clients, leverage social media, and build a strong online presence, and so much more. We're not shying away from talking through the challenges of the wedding industry and offering realistic solutions to navigate them successfully. We emphasize the importance of networking, establishing meaningful relationships with clients, and continuously honing one's craft to stand out in a competitive market. This is the We Got You podcast.
Hey guys, happy September. It is crazy that the year has already flown by so fast. I feel like literally just yesterday we were starting wedding season, and now it's crazy that we are in the midst of it. I'm sure you guys all have a backlog, are working on weddings, editing, have some more coming up, and it's just like insane how fast this year I think has come on to us, and that there's only a couple months left. I am seeing Halloween decor already in stores, which is wild to me, and so crazy that we're in the second half of the year, the later half of the year. But with that being said, that also means that we're all in the midst of busy season, we're into those fall weddings. We are into the September, October, November pieces of wedding season. We are editing everything from the last 4 months, from the last 4 months of weddings. And so I know that we all have so much on our plates. And so we're that you guys on here listening. And we just really wanted to talk about just surviving this busy season, and a few tips that we have for you guys, our top 5 tips for surviving busy season, and kind of things that for us make a really big difference, especially when you are working through a backlog, editing nonstop all day while still continuing and shooting and going out and working with your clients face to face, and just kind of some things that help us in our own businesses.
Yeah. And we're in it. I mean, busy season right now. September is one of the craziest months for me. I know, honestly, I had a really light June and July, which never happens, but this September is so crazy, going from shooting in Florida, Alabama, Oregon. Then we go to Ireland next month, which is so crazy for Wedding Filmmaker Workshop. But yeah, it's pretty slammed. So we just want to give you tips that we're honestly doing exactly this ourselves to survive busy season. I can speak for both Hannah and I to say that we have had years in the past where busy season genuinely felt like hell. So it's finally so great to get to a place where busy season feels manageable, where it feels like I'm not drowning, and that's what we want you to get there. So first thing that we want to talk about is really being intentional about your time off. And we're just going to be realistic. I know right now you're probably drowning in backlog worth of edits. You're traveling all over the place. The last thing that you're thinking about is taking a spa day tomorrow to just take the day off and get your creative juices flowing again. Like, we've been there, and you don't really have that time to do that. So what we can say that has been super helpful for us is like genuinely making your Sundays intentionally as time taken off. Obviously, like if you're working, if you're traveling, that's a different story. But if you just have a wedding this Saturday and your Sunday, like you are going to just spend all day working, like take your Sunday off, clock out of work, be intentional with your time, with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, with whoever, with yourself, like actually clocking out for that day. And also what we found really helpful, obviously, as entrepreneurs, we can literally work our entire lives away. I know for me, like I will work all day. I'll work like a 12-hour day. I'll just go. And then all of a sudden it's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. And I'm like, well, all right, like I guess I'll watch some TV now and go to sleep, or I'll just go to sleep. What's been really helpful is actually giving yourself a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 4 or a 7 to 3, like whatever that looks like for you. But like really being intentional about, okay, this is what I'm going to get done. I'm off work at 5. I'm going to put my computer down regardless of how much I want to just open it up and keep responding to the emails or keep editing the gallery. I'm going to put my computer down and be really intentional about my time. That gives you the time where you're able to take a step away. You're able to take a break mentally to get those creative juices flowing a little bit, at least overnight. But as crazy as it seems, taking time off, it's just really intentional that it's really important that you're intentional about, hey, like I'm going to clock out at 5 o'clock. I'm going to take the Sunday off, and like keep that repeatedly going where like sometimes, yeah, it's working a 9 to 5, and at least you're working a 9 to 5 at home.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like too, like this almost is like the most cliche answer to like surviving busy season, but it is for a reason. Like everybody always says this for a reason. So like while we echo it and like recognize that you're busy and everything, like your business will still be there tomorrow. And I think a lot of us forget that, because if you're able to clock off from a 9 to 5 and you go home and then oh, well, I'm going to go back to the office tomorrow. We, for some reason as entrepreneurs think, well, this has to get done today, or like this has to happen, or like I need to do a million things or whatnot, because or else life is going to fall apart, where it's like it will still be there tomorrow. And like if you're not able to dedicate maybe a whole day to taking it off, like Emma was saying, having hours for yourself where, okay, I know at least these 3 hours I'm going to not be working, or this evening I'm going to have off, just to like catch that breath of fresh air of like being able to breathe again. I remember being a kid and I was like the worst child when I got like really worked up. I was like working on homework or something and I was so stressed about it and nobody could calm me down. And I literally, my mom, I remember her saying like, Hannah, you just need to breathe. And I was like, no, I don't have time to breathe, because I was like, this has to happen right now. And then it was just so funny because like, you're not going to get anything done when you're feeling that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And anything that you do get done, you're probably gonna have to go back over, because you're going to be like looking at it and you're going to be like, wow, somebody on drugs was editing these photos, like you're not coming from that sense of creativity. You're not coming from that sense of like, okay, this is where my passion is. You're going from a sense of like rushed necessity. I have to get this done. And so like allowing yourself that time makes the world of a difference.
No, I completely agree. And it's like, what is the point of being stressed every single day? Like, I get it. I've done that for years, but like me actually now being able to be like, nope, I'm putting my computer down. It takes a while for my brain, and I still struggle with it sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes my 9 to 5 is taking the whole morning off and working to the evening, right? So like, it doesn't have to just be the 9 to 5, but like actually setting working hours for yourself. Like, I get it. It's hard because like you get to that point and you're like, all I can think about sometimes is like all the emails I have to get up and answer in the morning, or all I can think about is like, oh, I feel so guilty for like not spending time on work. But also like, it's just a constant rabbit hole. Like it's a constant like hamster wheel of me just feeling stressed out, where if I can train my brain to be like, no, it's okay that I don't answer this email at 9 p.m. at night. I'm going to answer at 8 a.m. in the morning when I clock in for work. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like that really brings us into the next thing we wanted to talk about, which was like being realistic with yourself on what you're able to do. Like it really is that mindset of like, okay, it's going to be okay. If I cannot
Yeah.
finish something, life will still be here, work will still be here. But being realistic with your goals, what you're going to be able to accomplish. I know for myself, I always like make a list of things that I'm going to do that day. Like I have this long, never ending to do list on my phone, but I bold the things that, okay, I'm going to do this today. And I'm very realistic of like what I know I'll be able to accomplish, because the last thing I need is to expect myself to do twice as much and then feel like shit when I don't do
Yeah.
that. And I don't know if we're cussing on here, but like you don't want to feel that way when you realize, okay, I haven't been able to do that. And now I still have more things on my list and I wasn't able to do what I needed to get done today. But like being realistic with yourself. And I think a lot of us fall into the trap of like, no, I have to get this done because of deadlines. Okay, so if you're not able to finish a certain wedding by their deadline, be realistic with yourself, because nobody expects you to be editing at 3 a.m. And I can guarantee you any bride would rather have you deliver a late film or gallery by a couple days if that means it's not rushed and you're putting your time and your energy into it. And so just really thinking and looking ahead, okay, if I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this gallery on time, looking ahead and communicating that ahead of time with the clients and checking in with them, letting them know like, I want to give you the best product possible. I want to give you the most incredible photo gallery. And honestly, like I always let clients know too. Last year was the first year that I ever delivered something late and it like killed me inside. But even letting them know, like, there's so many photos in here. Like, I don't want to sacrifice taking photos out to save me time. Like, I really think all of these are so valuable in your gallery and I want to put my time into it. Like, it's going to be a couple days late. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Is that all right? Like, I really cannot wait to get it to you. Every single time clients are like, oh my God, of course, like take your time. Like they would rather it be 3 months late. Well, okay, probably not, but like 3 weeks late than have it feel rushed and that be something that they're keeping for the rest of their lives. They've got the rest of their lives. They can wait a couple days. So that really is being realistic with yourself. Okay, can I finish something? If I cannot get something done in a certain amount of time, then thinking, what can I do to mitigate that? Or how can I, work to make myself feel less stressed, and like, who do I need to communicate with, and just be really realistic with it, because we're only human.
Which I completely agree with. And I think that even like falls into the next one that we want to talk about, which was like priority listing. Like you're in the middle of busy season, right? You're no longer in January where you're like planning ahead for busy season, working proactively, like you're in busy season. So if you feel like, okay, like I'm not able to hit these goals, I'm not able to get this done when I thought I would, like it is really helpful to write down priority lists of like, okay, like what needs to be done? Like every single week, I literally physically write down, I have a book where I physically write down what needs to be done. I write down every little thing, whether it be like answering all my emails, whether it be budgeting for the week, whether it be scheduling a meeting with Tim and Sarah for their wedding, or, doing something for who knows what. I literally write down everything. And then what I do is I write down like what is a priority. And this is really important. It can be really easy. And I'll speak for myself here. I have a habit of like, I want to do all the little things. I want to do all the little things because that means I get more check boxes off. However, then the big projects get put off and put off and put off. And maybe for you, this is editing a wedding. It gets put off and it gets put off and it gets put off. And then all of a sudden you've got a week left. You're not going to meet the deadline. This is what's so beneficial about priority listing is write down everything that you need to do and rank them on priority and spend every single day. Maybe you have a wedding video that you have to edit, right? And it's Monday. So on your priority list, you're like, I need to edit Tim and Sarah's wedding this week. But I want to do all these little things. Schedule out, okay, I'm going to spend 2 hours every day working on their wedding film, because this is a way where you can be proactive a little bit to ensuring like, okay, I have the time to be able to edit this so that I'm not missing deadlines. You're not just putting it off thinking, oh, I'll do it. And then the last week you don't get it done. So like priority listing has been something that's been so big for me, where I get to check so many things off my list, but I'm really looking at like, okay, what is the priority? All these big priorities, I need to be spending a little bit of time on them every single day. And then I go in and I add all the little priorities. That could be the fun little check marks that I get to add on, like answering all my emails or scheduling a meeting with so-and-so. So priority listing is really, really helpful. And
it does help you kind of really be realistic about like, okay, like I'm looking at my week. This is what I have time for. This is what I can accomplish. If you are sitting here and you're like, I can't get this done this week. Well, it's the beginning of the week. How can you get it done? Or what can you do? Just like Hannah said, like what's a backup plan? How can you communicate to your clients? Like what does that look like?
I love that you're talking about like, even if it's just a couple hours of like a project that's really important or like the biggest priority, like working on that. I feel like whenever I have like a giant wedding and I know that it has like the most photos for the year or something, that's going to be the biggest gallery or something, I feel almost this like brain freeze of like, I can't start it because if I start it, like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to get like sucked into this and there's so much to do where almost it becomes this like unnecessary pressure of like almost like wanting to procrastinate it, but like you just need to start it, but like there's so much to do. And so like if I don't start it, then I don't have like it's not on my to-do list yet, but like you need to get it started. And so I feel like even just like you were saying, like just getting chunks of that like done at a time, like you don't need to do everything all at once. And I think that's been like the biggest learning curve for myself because I'm somebody who like when I start something, I want to finish the whole thing. And
same
with weddings, that's so unrealistic with how much work we're doing. And so it's like, okay, if I can even just get a couple hours, then it's work that I don't have to do tomorrow. And I keep reminding myself that like, okay, I'm not gonna have to do this tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's hard. So it's like if you're one of those people where you're like, yeah, I've tried that and it doesn't work. Because like I'm that way too, where it's like if I start it, I'm finishing it. I will work all day. But then I realized I spent all day on one project when I needed to spend more time on other projects. And now I'm rushed and I procrastinated and I'm trying to race a deadline for who knows what because I put it off. So like you literally have to train your brain to be okay with not finishing a project every day. And so even if that looks like maybe for you, it's like writing a list that's like, okay, I'm just going to cull their wedding today, right? Like your big priority is like, I'm going to edit Tim and Sarah's wedding today. And then you've got little priorities underneath it that I was like, I'm going to cull their wedding today. I'm going to send them their sneak peeks tomorrow. I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. Like you can do it in a way where like your brain does think like, oh, I'm finishing things, but it just might not be those big projects.
Yes. That's like the perfectionist inside of us, I think, that like makes us think we have to do it all.
We just can't help it.
Right. And it's hard because I feel like so many entrepreneurs are the same way where you're like likely more perfectionist than others. And you're like, nope, I gotta make it perfect and send it all at once. And yeah, it doesn't always work, especially with busy season. And Emma and I have learned the hard way for sure. So we're just trying to save you guys some time.
Are you tired of taking on the entire editing workload yourself? Are you tired of staring at a screen for days on end, feeling burnt out and creatively exhausted? Maybe you've been searching for an editing company for months now, but you can't seem to find one that can truly mimic the high-end quality of films you're looking for to deliver to your clients. If this sounds like you, we couldn't be more excited to introduce to you our friends at Wonderlust Videos. Wonderlust Videos is a post-production service for wedding filmmakers with over 10 years of experience and has served over 700 clients to date. Their full team specializes in seamless and high-quality editing for wedding filmmakers who need to take the workload off their shoulders and trust someone to create a high-end edit. As you know, we're incredibly picky about the partners we work with and the tools and resources we recommend to other photographers and filmmakers. With that being said, I myself, Emma, have gone through the process firsthand to use Wonderlust Videos myself and vet their entire process so that I can recommend them to you today with confidence. Wonderlust Videos can edit your highlight films, social media teasers, doc edits, and so much more. Their team edits on Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, so it's time to get the help you need and start outsourcing today. You can start with Wonderlust Videos right now at wonderlust-videos.com and use our code WGY10 for 10% off your first project.
Does your current client delivery system feel unexciting, limiting, and boring? Maybe you're still using good old Google Drive or Dropbox to deliver your clients' wedding films. If the answer to these is yes, it's time to level up your video delivery experience with VidFlow. VidFlow is a pay-per-use online platform that allows you to deliver fully branded websites for each of your clients. While being incredibly affordable, VidFlow is accessible on mobile, desktop, and smart TVs with included long-term hosting so that your clients can truly enjoy the entire experience when receiving their wedding films. When I first found VidFlow, it was such an easy switch that truly benefited my business substantially. With so many incredible features and options for customization and personalization, VidFlow continues to wow my clients time and time again. You can find VidFlow on Instagram or visit their website at vidflow.co. Use our code WGY20 for 20% off a yearly premium membership and level up your client experience today with BidFlow.
The next thing we also wanted to talk about was communicating with your support system, your family, your friends. The very unique and beautiful thing about our jobs and our lives as entrepreneurs is that we have a busy season and we have an off season. You know, in those off seasons, we have so much time where we can be creative, spend time with people, spend time with friends and family, that it almost is hard sometimes, I think, for us to recognize that when we have a busy season, our family and friends might not fully understand that because they might be used to off season or vice versa. And so I think for us, knowing that, okay, we're gearing up for busy season, you know, listening to podcasts talking about it, you know, getting ready, knowing friends who are jumping into it. But our friends and families don't normally understand it as well. And so I think just being like realistic, like I'll tell my husband, like, okay, I'm working really late tonight. Like today's going to be a 10-hour day, or this week I'm going to be like really working all day, all the way till 10 p.m., 11 p.m., or like being really upfront with him, like beforehand of letting him know, like, what does this week kind of look like? And also still jumping back to that first thing, you know, being intentional with your time off is so much more important because, again, you have your people around you. They want you to succeed and they don't need you to stop everything you're doing to come hang out with them, but also to recognize that they're there for you and that being around them and being with them is like a mental health, you know, positive. And so letting them know where you're at, letting them know how you're feeling, letting them know that you're going to be super busy. So then they are understanding of that. And that when you have that time off, they can be intentional with it as well. So I think just like that communication all around, you know, it's not only with us and our clients, but it's also with us and our people.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think a lot of it too is like, I'm someone that like, I can feel really guilty if I'm like not spending time with my family and friends. Like, like there's just so much going on all the time that it's like, oh, if I'm just like sitting in my office like working all day, I'm like, I feel so like defeated that it's like, oh, well, my friends are getting to like go out and do all these things, or my family's doing this, and like I just can't make it. So I think like even in that sense too, like it's tough, like it's really hard, like we deal with it. But what I have found to be really healthy is like planning something in your off season, right? So it's like, I know my September is going to be just like through the roof slammed. Like I have so much going on. So I plan a little girls' dinner in October that I can get excited for and I can look forward to. That feels like really intentional. So I think like for those of you, like if you're feeling like, just so busy and I feel guilty and I want to spend time with my family and friends, plan something ahead of time. Pick a date out on your calendar, whether it be with your family, with your friends, that you get to put on, that you get to host, or that you're with your family hosting, and that you get to look forward to in your off season. Like I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, dude, the FOMO is so real too when it comes to like busy season. And it's funny because my brother-in-law is a police officer, and so he works weekends now. And I was like, selfishly, finally, it's not just Hannah who's missing Saturdays when like family get together. And it's not just Hannah's schedule that people are working around, but at the same time, like recognizing that there's like things I'm going to miss and there's things I'm not going to be at. But hey, Monday through Friday, hit me up. I'm like ready. But like in the off season, we have that time, and it really is that give and take. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of us chose this career path. Obviously, it's not like the defining factor, but something beautiful about it is that it's flexible and that it is different in every season and every day. And so it's just really, you know, it can also give you something to look forward to.
Right. No, I completely agree. Last thing that we want to touch on is really just organization. You know, we talked a lot about priority lists, being realistic about the goals that you can accomplish. Again, stating that we're not in January, you're not like getting to work super proactively anymore. You're in the heat of busy season, but like continuously stay up to date. Maybe that means every single Monday you update your honeybook, you update your spreadsheets, you update your calendar. I love having a calendar that's fully up to date with what I'm doing, with where I am, with the meetings that I have scheduled that I can look at the beginning of every week. I love having my honeybook with all my clients in them so that I can see everything. It's organized. I know if there's any new inquiries I need to respond to, and I take care of that. I also love having my spreadsheet. Like I've got a spreadsheet that just keeps a tab on all of my clients. It literally just has all my clients listed out. It's got their wedding date, their location. It's got like, do I have a timeline? It's got, you know, who is second shooting for me. It's got what deliverables am I giving to them? Like having a spreadsheet that kind of like is this master file that just keeps everything organized and being really intentional about maybe it's like every Monday, you're going to make sure that every single one of those things is updated. That is going to make just like a much more smooth busy season for you, because that Monday, maybe you look at your spreadsheet and you're like, oh my gosh, Tim and Sarah's wedding is next weekend. I don't have a flight booked. I need to book that now. Do that now instead of literally a week before the wedding. So I think that is a way where you can kind of see, like in my spreadsheets, I'll literally have like, do I have travel booked? Like flights, hotel, rental car, are those things taken care of? Like really being intentional with staying organized. Like this is something that so many people slack off on. They're like, I'm busy, I'll get to it later. I can't do it. I don't have time to do it. If you really don't have time to do any of that, then it's really beneficial for you to find a VA, find someone that can come into your business and help you with those things. But it doesn't take a long time. You can easily spend literally like 30 minutes every Monday, maybe an hour if you have to book a bunch of travel or schedule a bunch of meetings to like update all the things. And it literally saves you so much stress as you're going through your busy season and all your traveling.
Yeah, I feel like the more organized you are, the less that you're like working and you have something in the back of your head where like, I think I was supposed to do this one thing. Like if you're organized, you know exactly what you've done, what you need to do. Like yesterday was my like behind the scenes day where I like ordered new film. I ordered new like thumb drives for my clients, boxes for their photo prints. I ordered all the things that I needed to order for the next 4 weddings, for the next month of weddings. And so it's really just like being very organized about that. And I'm like, I think it's a very easy way to relate is like, I'm somebody where if my office is messy, I cannot get work done because that's all I'm thinking about. Same thing when it comes to like all of your like work and everything. I am constantly updating my workflow in HoneyBook of like what stage each project is at. I'm adding and editing and personalizing that workflow. So it has like, have I delivered their film? Have I delivered their like, thank you package or whatnot, like it has every single step. So I know exactly where they're at, exactly what I need to do. I'm constantly like looking at travel, but the more organized you can be, I think the more you're able to focus on your work. And it really doesn't take that much time to be organized. And I think like, even just like Emma was saying, start with like a wedding Excel sheet and like listing your couples, listing where they are, listing the notes, listing who their planner is, and like being very intentional on like keeping that stuff documented, especially if you do a lot of weddings. I remember, I don't think I was that organized when I had like 30 weddings, and I cannot even imagine trying to do that now, because now with like 15 weddings, I'm like, I am to the T organized. And if I'm not organized, like that's the first thing I have to do. So will make everything feel a lot easier to be able to focus on the editing work that you're supposed to do, or meeting up with your clients and everything when you know that the back end is taken care of.
Yeah, I honestly like couldn't agree more. And I feel like it's just staying organized. It's something that we easily want to slack off on. And if you don't stay organized for months, then it's going to feel really overwhelming. But take care of it. Get up to date. Spend a whole day. If you are one of those people that's like, I haven't organized my emails or organized my HoneyBook or done any of this in months because I've been so busy, take an entire day, get up to date, get caught up. I promise you will feel better about your life.
Yeah. Also, for everybody listening, just a reminder, if you use QuickBooks, go and start organizing your mileage and your expenses right now, because that is something that I think is so easy to let sit for months. Go do it right now. This is your reminder. Take like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
No, really though, do it. Like don't wait till the end of the year.
And then you're like going back on your calendar trying to figure out, where was I this date? Was that work?
Yeah.
Because it'll take so much more time if you wait. So just do it now. Your friendly reminder to go into your QuickBooks. We all need it every once in a while. But honestly, those are like the big things that I think Emma and I both experience-wise know have helped us in the past and have really changed what our busy season looks like, especially, post-COVID, and then like really settling into what wedding season looks like in general, to then what we are able to do and what's realistic for us and what has made our busy season feel very manageable. So hopefully some of that helps you guys and like gives you some friendly reminders, gives you some new things to try. And hope you guys all have a great rest of your busy season. And again, time is flying by. So we will see you guys next week on the We Got You podcast. Thanks for listening to another episode of the We Got You podcast. We would absolutely love it if you could take an extra minute to leave us a review and let us know what you think. DM us a screenshot of it and we'll send you a coffee on us. If you want access to an exclusive community, rad freebies, giveaways, and wedding referrals, then join our Facebook group today. Also, if you aren't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure that you're following along on Instagram at WeGotYou_podcast to stay up to date. We'll see you next week on the We Got You podcast.